everyone, Janie here, and today I'm going to share something with you that I've wanted to share with you for over 6 months now, but I've had so many other ideas this kind of got put on the back burner. But no more. Today I'm going to tell you about cold porcelain. I am going to tell you how to make it, and I'm going to show you some cool things that you can make with it. Cold porcelain is a modeling substance, I guess you would call it. And, you would use it like you would use a clay, I guess. I don't know really how to describe it, but I will show you. And it's inexpensive. You can make this with ingredients that you have around your house. It's really easy to do, and you can make embellishments for your cards or for mixed media or your altered projects, whatever you're working on. You can even make jewelry with this. It is just amazing, and I can't wait to show you. So first thing we're going to do is head over to the craft table, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I've made with it and tell you a little bit about it, and then I'm going to tell you how you can make it. These are just a few examples of things that I have made with the cold porcelain. And right over here, this is what it looks like if you don't add color or you don't paint it. So it's just kind of an off-white color. And then you can paint it like I did with this, or you can add color to it. For example, I used my Spectrum Noir alcohol ink marker and just added a little ink to the cold porcelain, and mixed it in before I put it in the mold. And I purposely, I don't know if you could see this, but I purposely did not mix it completely so that there would be varied shades of blue within this. And then this right here, I mixed some paint in, some pink pearl paint. See if we can get it to focus here. But so you can, mix paint, alcohol inks in with it, or you can paint it and you can make jewelry with it. This here I cut out using like a little cookie cutter, and then this rose was done with a mold, and I attached it, and I had poked a hole in it with a toothpick before it dried so that it could be used as a necklace. And this one here, I added some dazzles, which are, let me grab it right here. They are stickers from hot off the press. And this one had some cute little butterflies that were small enough to go on there. And then I put some liquid glass. You could use glossy accents, but I use liquid glass, which is from close to my heart. And I put it over the top so that the stickers would be protected and not come off. And then I'm going to be attaching this bail to it, and I will be creating a necklace with that. And let me see, this one is a little itty bitty tiny crab, so I'll show you that mold in a minute. You can also make beads with it. So I made this bead, poked the hole through with a toothpick, and then I colored it with my alcohol ink marker afterwards. But you could color it ahead of time before you make them. So there's just a variety of things that you can do, and something like this would look so good on like an altered cigar box or a little box like this. So you can use these things for so many things, such a wide variety. And I'll be right back and I'll show you what the molds look like. Here are some of the molds that I have, and they're little flexible silicone molds. And I'll show you later, how you put the cold porcelain in here. But then after it dries, it's really easy to get out. And there's just such a variety that you can get. Look at these keys. And this is where the little tiny crab came from. So you can get some little tiny embellishments. This is for real deep ones. For example, where did it go? Like this rose. So it would be in the deeper molds like this. And the really thin ones for the feathers. And then there are molds like this. And this is where the mold that I used to make this heart. It's also the mold that I used down here to make the one with the butterflies on it that I'm also going to be making a necklace out of. So there's a variety of molds that you can use, and I get mine mostly off from eBay. Really inexpensive. I mean, just like a couple dollars. And some of them I get off Amazon. So I'll put links below in the description box to places where you can find these. The first thing you're going to want to do is get some cling wrap of some sort, and you're going to tear off a piece big enough to wrap your porcelain in. And it's always hard to know, so it's better to tear off more than you think you need. I'm using about, I'm going to guess at least a foot. And you're going to take baby oil, and you are going to put some baby oil on it. And we are going to set this aside. Okay, now we're going to get our ingredients. So we're going to be using cornstarch, and I have a half a cup of it here ready to go. So I'm going to pour that in. And then we're going to need glue, and you just use Elmer's glue. It doesn't have to be glue all, just Elmer's glue. And I have a half a cup of that here all ready to go. So let me pour that in. Okay. And I'm using a whisk. And I'm just going to start mixing it together. Next, you're going to need baby oil, and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon. Let me see if I can get that so you can see. 1 tablespoon. And you're going to use lemon juice. And again, 1 tablespoon. And we're going to mix. You just mix and mix until it's thoroughly combined. Okay. And now it's time to put it in the microwave. You stir, and you'll be stirring in between each time that you microwave it. You just continue to stir, making sure that we don't get any lumps in there. We want to keep it nice and smooth. As the mixture gets thicker, you might want to use a spatula instead of the whisk, or instead of a fork. And as you can see, it's getting thick, and you want to squash the lumps out. So just, make sure that you are getting all the lumps squished out. And also, if you feel like your microwave may be cooking this a little fast, maybe it's getting a little too lumpy, you can start microwaving it at 10 seconds instead of for 15 seconds. When it reaches this consistency, you probably only need to put it back in the microwave one more time. And definitely at this point, I would say 10 seconds because it's basically done. Okay, there we go. It's dough. So what I need to do right now is put some baby oil on my hands, and I will be kneading this until it cools off. It gets pretty messy all over your hands. If it gets too sticky, you can, when you first start, you can put it back in the microwave for like another 5 seconds at a time, and just add more baby oil to your hands. Just put a little on your hands, rub it around, and then knead it. And you just keep kneading it until it cools off. After kneading it for about 10 to 15 minutes till it cools off, a really good test is, let's see if I can do this for you. You pull off a piece and you will see that it creates like a drop, like a teardrop or a raindrop shape. Then you know that it's ready. And so now just roll it into a ball the best you can. You don't want a bunch of cracks or open spaces inside of it. So just try to get it all nice and rolled together good. And then when you get it the best you can, you think you've got it good, put it on that plastic wrap that we had put the baby oil on, and you're going to roll it up tightly. And I mean tight, so that there is just no air in there at all. And you just keep rolling it. Keep it very nice and tight. No air. Fold in your little flap ends there. And so you have it wrapped airtight. And you now have to let this sit for 24 hours. So I'll be back when 24 hours is up. Okay, the cold porcelain has now rested, as we'll call it, for 24 hours. And as you see, I had it in a Ziploc bag, as well as having it wrapped up in the plastic wrap, just to make sure it stays nice and fresh, nice and soft. And now I'm going to show you how to color it and how to use it. So I'm just going to pinch off a small amount, and as you can see, it still comes off nicely. And I'm just going to use a little tiny amount here. Set that aside. And I think I'm going to start off with using my Spectrum Noir alcohol ink marker. So, actually, as you can see, I have a little bit of baby oil on my hands from this. So I'm going to massage it a little bit to get so the baby oil is not right on the surface, and it's actually good to massage it a little bit anyway. I don't know what else to call it. I'm calling it massaging it, kneading it. Bring out my little pieces right here, and you don't need to add anything to the mold. You know, like you don't have to grease it down or anything. And what we're going to do, I'll start off with this one just so it'll show up more. We're going to push that into the mold. Now, I've pushed in too much. You know, you can start with a little bit at a time, and then I like to use a brayer just to smooth things out. And now you need to get rid of all the excess. So I usually just use my finger and rub it off. And if it starts to come out, just press it right back in. Another thing that you can use, let me show you here really quick, is like a little squeegee or a little gift card, and just rub it across. But for me, it works better just to use my fingers, just like this. You can just go right around the edges of things. Make sure it's all pressed in there good. Go back over it again with a brayer if you feel the need to. And there's one. All right. I've got 3 different colored bows in there, and I have enough left over to do some more. So you can see it just took very little. And this is going to have to sit about 24 hours. So you have to wait till it dries. You don't have to bake this or do anything special. You just let it sit in this mold to dry. So I will be back when this is dry, and we'll pop them out. I'll show you what they look like. And also, I'll tell you how you can win these 2 molds. I'm going to give away 2, so it's going to be 2 separate, 2 different drawings. I'll draw 2 people's names. One of them will be the bows, and the other one will be the butterflies. There's one other thing I wanted to show you, and actually I only have this one little tiny piece left because, well, I mixed some together to put in a butterfly and into a flower from the leftovers. But I wanted to show you, you don't just have to use the molds with this. You can roll it up and, roll it into a little ball. Use a toothpick to put a hole through it and create a bead. You can flatten it out and use it with, cookie cutters or embossing folders. Now, this is just, a skinny embossing folder, but it was the first one I grabbed. So I will show you with this little piece as soon as I get this open. Here we go. I'll just take this little piece that I've flattened out here, and I'm going to lay it right here. There's a well, you can't see, but there's a flower right here, and I'm going to lay it right there on the flower. Close it up. Maybe now you could see the flower better. Close it up, give it a little squeeze. You don't have to squish it all the way through. And peel it off. And you can emboss designs into it, just like that. Well, it hasn't been 24 hours yet, but let me explain that the smaller or thinner that your item is, the less time it's going to take. And something like this is going to take longer because, as you can see, the mold goes quite deep. And so you need to make sure that it's dry all the way down in there. But when it comes to something like this, it's going to take, less than 24 hours. And they just pop right out. There you go. Let me get a piece of paper here, see if it'll focus better. There you go. That easy. Okay, let me pop out the little bows. And you can take a look at those. Aren't they cute? And if you end up with any a really thin piece of the cold porcelain that you hadn't got off, if you're really careful, you can break it off or file it down. But that's, usually isn't an issue. But they are really lightweight. I mean, really lightweight. So, you could barely feel that you're even holding it. And they're also really sturdy. I was going to show you the flower that I stuck on here. You do not know how many times I have dropped that to the floor. And even with all of the delicate detail on this, it never broke. So I actually haven't had one break yet. I'm not saying that they can't, but I just haven't had one break. And also, don't forget that if you don't want to color them ahead of time, and you just, put in the cold porcelain the way it is, then you can paint it afterwards any way you want and make it beautiful. So now it's time to talk about the giveaway. When you're leaving your comments below, just let me know that this is something you want to try and that you want to be entered in the giveaway. And the reason why I'm asking you to do that is because I don't want to have somebody win a mold that really isn't interested in trying this. So I just need to know that you're interested, and I will put you in the drawing, and I will draw 2 names, and I will pick the winners by sometime the middle of November. So you can keep leaving comments up until I announce a winner. Thank you all for watching today, and I really hope you enjoyed this. I mean, there are so many possibilities with cold porcelain, and it is so easy to make, and I know that you are really going to enjoy it if you give it a try. So, happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.